supplements, Hubbards, and Grenada paper products. Manufacturers of Royal, Horizon, and Quick and Easy paper towels and napkins.
Hubbards is giving away loads of prizes with Live Free for 1 year 3.0. Same promotion, more prizes to be won. Spend $50 or more at any Hubbards department and receive a chance to win big every 2 weeks. Free fuel for 1 year. Free cooking gas for 1 year. Cash savings account from the Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited. Free electricity for 1 year. Free Coca-Cola for 1 year. Free property insurance for 1 year. Free drinks for 1 year. Free lunch packages from the Creative Chef. 1 free gas cooker. Free internet and cable for 1 year. And free groceries for 1 year. Promotion runs from April 28 to September 16, 2022. Live Free for 1 year 3.0 is brought to you in part by Chief Brand Products, Grenadian General Insurance Company Limited, Carib Breweries, Danny, Flow, Creative Chef, Grenlex, Supreme Bleach, Promos, Sol, Dutch Lady, Coca-Cola Grenada Bottling Company, Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited, and the Food Fair Supermarket. Terms and conditions apply.
Kindly greasy pole, and we don't dance round the maypole.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Week Culture. It is Friday, the 8th of July, and we're back. Now, last week, we promised you we will be having a special program this evening. Of course, the Spicemas Corporation, they are recognizing the mighty Sparrow, of course, the Calypso King of the world. Yes, we all know that. And so, he is celebrating, I think, his 85th birthday, and of course, as a mark of recognition for his exploits in the Calypso art form and his contribution to Calypso. It's fitting that he be recognized. So we have with us this evening Mr. Arley Gill. He's the chairman of the Spicemas Corporation, and we have a number of Calypsonians from around the islands joining us, various islands, from Antigua, from different islands. They'll be joining us this evening to chat a bit about the mighty Sparrow and to share with us some of the experiences they've had with him. And so we'll have a wonderful discussion this evening. A little later on, we'll be opening our telephone lines to get your comments and your contribution to the program. So it's a good time to welcome Mr. Arley Gill. Arley, good evening and welcome. How are you doing?
Thank you so much, Godfrey, and it's a pleasure to be with you this evening. Thank you for hosting us and having us on We Culture. It's my second appearance, I believe, on your program on Friday nights, where you have a lot of fun, while at the same time you disseminate and educate with regards to our culture. Yes, tomorrow, Godfrey, the mighty Sparrow slinger Francisco will be celebrating his 87th birthday.
87th? Oh boy, I took off 2 years from him.
Yeah, you rob him there. July 9th, 1953.
Right.
So the body was born in Grand Roy. Many years ago, the community of Grand Roy in Grenada, St. John's, Grenada. Also, Grand Roy, I always say to persons that, do you know Lewis Hamilton? He's a second-generation Grenadian. His grandfather is from the same community of Grand Roy. Grand Roy, of course, is patois for great king. Mm-hmm. So that we believe, we of the Spicemas Corporation believe that the mighty Sparrow, the King of Calypso, World Calypso King, it is only fitting that we pay tribute to him with regards to his contribution to culture, his contribution to Calypso, his contribution to Caribbean civilization, his contribution to world civilization. So often, we do not pay homage to our own. We pay homage and respect to others all over the world, and we do not pay any respect with regards to those who have made outstanding contributions to our civilization. And we believe that the mighty Sparrow, Slinger Francisco, a Grenadian, definitely one of the early trailblazers and one of the most dominant figure in the Calypso arena, is worthy of celebration, his life and his work. With us tonight, we have Brother Dobrene Omarde from Antigua. Brother Omarde is the chairman of the Antigua Barbados Reparations Commission and is a member of the CARICOM Reparations Commission. But I can say to you, he's a cultural icon, he's a cultural writer, researcher. He has written books on short shirts, and he has produced many articles on Antigua culture and music. The very first time that I had any contact with Brother Dobrene many years ago was when he sought me out to republish one of my articles with regards to culture. And we have maintained contact for all these years. Also, too, we have Val Adams. Val Adams needs no introduction. He has graced the stage with the mighty Sparrow. He has been in Calypso finals here in Grenada for many years. And he's a well-known musician, arranger, singer. If I'm not mistaken, Val probably still have some school high jump record dated in the 1960s, Val. So he's a man of tremendous talent. And then we also have out of Dominica, Mr. Duncan Stowe. Duncan is one of the top Calypso analysts in the Caribbean. And he hosts different Calypso workshops in Dominica and throughout the region. Duncan will share with us as well with regards to the mighty Sparrow, the man, the life, and his contribution. We also have Sekou Johnson, Grenadian out of New York as well, another cultural aficionado and a mighty Sparrow enthusiast. So we expect also Gabby the mighty Gabby out of Barbados, and Elimus, Gilbert, the Inpector, will be joining us during the course of the evening. So we want to welcome all our listeners, and we want to share with you tonight. Also, Godfrey, we're going to put out one or two little questions, and persons who answer the question correctly, they can get a ticket to this year's Calypso Finals, August 4th at Progress Park. So it's all good. It's all in a celebration of Singer Francisco, the mighty Sparrow.
Yes, indeed, Ali, and you said quite a lot. Well, let me also welcome our guest to We Culture for the first time. Of course, Val Adams, a new renowned Calypsonian here in Grenada, and you said you've been in the Calypso finals. One of my favorite Calypsos. Take a bow. Yes, man. Very, very, very good. And so we have our friends from Antigua and Dominica. So we welcome you to We Culture. And it's a real pleasure to have you. And I usually say to people who appear on the program, it's like Hotel California. You come in, but you can't get out. So you can expect a call from me again sometime soon to be on the program with me. So, Ali, I want you to lead up this evening, and I don't know which one of the gentlemen you would like to start the ball rolling as it relates to, some of the exploits of the mighty Sparrow.
Well, let us start with Brother Dobrene. Dobrene, your thoughts, your first insights with regards to Singer Francisco, the mighty Sparrow, and why you think we should celebrate his life and his contribution.
Ali, thanks so much for this invitation. It certainly is an honor to be honoring a great Caribbean citizen. I thought I could have sneaked under the radar and posed as a Calypsonian. I think you've known my cover, so I think Grenada now knows that I'm not. I actually am a writer. I write for quite a number of Calypsonians here in Antigua. over the years. And as you mentioned, Ali, I've written the biography of King Short Shirt, and I published a magazine called Calypso Talk, an annual magazine featuring the lyrics and interviews with Calypsonians. I published that magazine as far back as 1984. So I've been around the field for a while. Today, in mental preparation for this program, I thought to myself, what on earth new, earth-shattering, what honor can I pay, what sort of facts can I reveal to talk about Sparrow that have not been spoken about before, that the other guests on this panel certainly would not know. And I think I've sort of boiled down my focus to in two areas. The first area, I think, is acknowledgement of the role of Sparrow in spreading Calypso across this region. I have a theory about the origins of Calypso that might be slightly different than others, but I tend to see it as that final product of a whole bunch of national African-based musics that moved into Trinidad. The Bena music out of Antigua, the banjo music out of Barbados, the merengue music out of the French islands, and certainly out of Grenada also. And I think that music, that those musics sort of coalesced in Trinidad, and it's out of that we have this thing that we're calling the final product that we're calling Calypso. And Sparrow, I think the very first time I got close to him and sat and talked to him, what was on his mind was the journey that he and a couple others would have gone through in spreading this music out of Trinidad, the small planes that they had to take to get into places like Anguilla, the boat trips that they had to move from one island to the other island, the horrible accommodation, guest house, and, certainly not the five-star accommodation our artisans are asking for today. But that journey that they went through to really spread this music, and they did it very successfully. There's no Calypsonian of any meaning, of any importance, I think, in Antigua and Barbuda that does not have the mighty Sparrow as his mentor, as the Calypsonian that he looks up to, the Calypsonian that inspires him. I think in addition to that, Sparrow would have done a couple of other things that I think he changed the nature of the presentation, the stage presentation of the Calypso, which was formerly, and where we are way before early 1950s, late 1940s, that the performance element of the art form was not dominant, was certainly not important. And when I say performance, I'm not talking about singing abilities, I'm talking about physical control of stage and dancing on stage and the depiction, and we will remember, because Sparrow also paved the way for this thing we now call in presentation in all our Calypso. In 1963, when he did Danny the Man in the Van, came on stage in short pants in a school uniform with a catapult in his back pocket. This is the start, essentially, of the interpretation and the presentation of Calypso on stage. And so I think he definitely made the major contribution there. And I guess as the program developed, there are a couple other things that may come to my mind. But one, the additional one, I think, for the day, was his ability to work with all types of music, all types of popular music. So he worked around the twists, and he worked around merengue. He worked with African rhythms. He worked with the boogaloo. And he was not afraid at all of the ballad. I mean, he's worked with Byron and the Pioneers as a balladeer. And then what he did in changing the music, I'm talking about his work with Rose, that had, calypso critics in a phase as to trying to discover whether this thing was calypso or not. He did it with Rose, he did it with Meme. It is the genius of the man, that ability to work with anything that was around him and to incorporate it into the calypso idiom. I think I'll stop there. A couple other things may come to my head as we go through the evening.
All right. Thank you very much. You know, Ali, I want to throw this in early because it's one of the most interesting thing for me and Sparrow. I like to say that Sparrow actually caused the revolution in Trinidad after 1956. And I don't know which one of you would like to speak up. Maybe Duncan, when he boycotted and he decided, look, we have to change this thing.
Yeah, well, good evening, everybody. Thanks, Ali. It's only Ali that could do that to me.
Lost you there. Duncan, we lost you there.
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah,
Hello?
all right.
Yeah, we lost you there for a bit. Yes, you're back with us.
Okay, great.
Nice, yes.
So, as an addendum to Dobrene's point, and the point that was just made in terms of the revolution, I think that is one of the highlights of maybe Sparrow's contribution to maybe the art form. That revolution, as it was put. You see, because when Sparrow began singing, Calypso had two fundamentals. Dobrene sort of hinted to them. Melodies and harmonies were very similar in every song. Okay? And the singers did not place much emphasis on vocal style at all. Sparrow changed the two of them. So maybe we could see that as the revolution. His range and his vocal quality. That was the special effects of every performance. And of course, we know Sparrow was a dancer, a comedian. So putting all these various elements, everything changed completely. So I think that really is the revolution. And of course, you cannot really speak about Sparrow without bringing in something from Kitchener. Kitchener had a lot of changes that he assisted in the process in making with Sparrow. So Sparrow's performances, when he came on, completely different from what existed prior to maybe the mid-1950s, thereabouts, when he came in. This, I think, really is the highlight, or maybe you would say the key to the changes that Sparrow made, the revolution that he created in Calypso. All
right. Ali? Mm-hmm.
Yes, maybe a good time to bring in Brother Val Adams, Grenadian Calypsonian musical icon, a trailblazer in the music. Val has done a lot of work keeping the Grenada flag flying in New York, in the diaspora for many years. And he has graced the stage with the mighty Sparrow on numerous occasions. And Val can share with our listeners what is it that mighty Sparrow, how is it that mighty Sparrow would have influenced his work and assisted him as a Grenadian Calypsonian. Val, over to you.
Yeah, You know, Dobrene and the other guy that spoke around before, Duncan.
Yeah.
Listen, man. So much. There are so many things that you can say about this individual that you want to run out of time to speak about him. You know what I mean? The guy was, the word I want to use for him more than any other is he was extremely versatile. This guy would sing calypso, just win the monarch, and come out and sing a song. Only a fool breaks his own heart. You know what I'm saying? And you hear that, and you think that that is his genre of music. And no, it's not. But he can twist things around and make it so totally different that you'd have to say, that's not the same guy that sang last night at the Masquerade. You know, he was remarkable. And before I go forward, I wrote down some stuff here because I figure there would be a lot of people on here. So let me just run through this. And I want to start off by wishing him a very happy birthday. And I wish for him many, many more to come. I've been following Sparrow from since I was a little kid, about 10 years old. And the thing about it, I had that opportunity because in those days we had no electricity throughout the island of Grenada. Carriacou and Pidimont Nichols. But my parents had generators, so we had a shop, restaurant, jukebox, and the whole works. That was a reigning thing then. And despite the fact I had to be upstairs as a little kid, I listened to everything. And the songs that people punch, remember the jukebox, you gotta go punch a song, put your 25 cents and punch a song. And the songs that were played most was the Mighty Sparrow, and I said, whoa. And I got caught up with a couple of them that I still remember some of them today. And other Calypsonians like Kitchener, of course, Melody, Blakey, and some others. And in those days, we have to remember the pecan in the Calypsos was part of the highlight too. I mean, those guys throw words tonight and they're friends tomorrow again. And I say, what a remarkable relationship. You know, no enmity or anything of the sort. So he was a gift. He was a gift to humanity, a gift to the genre of calypso and Caribbean music as a whole. You know, I was always intrigued by his lyrics and often wondered how he was able to come up with so many songs with double meanings. You know, you know that when you say, I followed him for many years, and up to this day, and performed with him, as Ali said, on many occasions. London, about 3-4 times, Montreal, Toronto, New York, of course, and it's always a pleasure being in his company. Whenever you wanted to, I was a young guy still, had my own band here, Exodus, and when he wanted to check on me, we had a show. He say, in a baritone voice, "How are you doing there, young fellow?" That was his way of addressing me to make sure I'm okay. And it was an honor, and still an honor, because we chat on the phone at least once a month, maybe more. He calls me, and I say, geez, look at this. Life, is like a mystery sometimes. I never thought I would be in the company, I would be a friend of such an honorable individual. So I feel honored to be acquainted with the Mighty Sparrow. I mean, he only has good to offer. I wonder if anybody have ever seen him upset. Maybe with his bandman, a little mistake or a little thing they might screw up. Maybe. But what more, if we were to ask ourselves, what more in the genre of calypso and Caribbean music as a whole, what more could that guy have done? With that versatility, he's in every corner of every aspect of our music, And I must say that he had been a great inspiration to me and to the Calypso fraternity. And I don't see that ending soon. He's still kicking. When I talk to him, he sings a couple lines for me. He has other stuff coming. He sings a couple lines for me. Before there's a lot we can say. And like Duncan said a while ago, and Dobrene too, as we go along, we're going to find other things to add on. But before I end this little portion, I want to really give my personal birthday wishes to him and a tribute to him. And I want to do a few lines of a song of his that I remember, which was very inspirational as a youth growing up. That means me, And that one is a part of it. Children go to school and learn well. Otherwise, later on in life, you go catch real hell. Oh man, I forget now.
Education in your head.
Yes. Otherwise, later on in life, you're better off dead. Because there is simply no room in this whole wide world for an uneducated little boy or girl. Don't follow idle companions
to lead you astray.
To earn tomorrow, you got to learn today. And the tone of voice. And remember, in those days, man, that's why I say it's a gift. In those days, you don't have voice training. You don't have music schools to go to. Sparrow plays a guitar to get him a little backup when he's working on something, and I don't know where he got that from, but I guess he pushed himself to get that. But the fact is, we didn't have the professional education to sit in a classroom to learn that. And to be so gifted, you gotta say, thank God that we had a genius as Sparrow in this musical genre we're talking about.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Ali, you have to add your voice. I'm sure you had some association with Sparrow yourself.
Well, of course, and Sparrow and I basically from the same community at Grand Roy. But just to go back to the history a little bit, and both Dobrene, Duncan, and Val spoke with regards to the early days of Sparrow and the growth and development of the genre music. And when we speak about the contribution of Sparrow, it must not be lost on us how calypso music would have influenced the development of reggae music. So you have two predominant genre of music in the Caribbean, in the English-speaking Caribbean, reggae and calypso. Calypso being the oldest. And one would appreciate that in the development of reggae music, you once had something called ska, which was a sort of upbeat, faster, before the rocksteady era came in. And Bob Marley was an ardent fan of the mighty Sparrow. And he commented that when he heard Slave, calypso called Slave by the mighty Sparrow, Bob Marley said that he knew what he wanted to do with his music. So that when we speak about the influence of Slinger Francisco, the mighty Sparrow, to Caribbean civilization and to Caribbean music, it does not end with calypso, although that is what he's known for. But he has influenced other genre of music, and Val spoke with regards to the other classic songs that Sparrow sang, or Sparrow made popular to Caribbean society, right? And, from the time we announced that July 9th, we celebrate the 87th birthday of the mighty Sparrow and his mighty Sparrow Day. You know, there are critics, as in particular on social media, and the main focus is what it is that the mighty Sparrow did for Grenada. Yes? And my response, well, Val Adams and me, we expect Elimus, Gilbert, the Inspector, to join us a little later on. And persons like a Jamo and so on, they can speak with regards to the influence that Sparrow would have had on their career. But I want to believe that there is a bigger picture to the contribution that Slinger Francisco made to Caribbean music and Caribbean civilizations. So that's so much so. Now we have soca artists and so on who are multi-millionaires. And Val spoke with regards to the sort of accommodation and transportation that they use throughout the region. Now you can't get a soca artist from Trinidad or some of the bigger names if they don't want to fly without flying them first class, without putting them in a 5-star hotel, without giving them per diems and so on. We're talking about the Sparrow, the king, also king of the world, and these guys who now are raking in the millions. They cannot perform as a mighty Sparrow or compose as a mighty Sparrow. I met Sparrow a month ago, and Sparrow still talking about studio and going on record songs. And these guys, as Val again was pointing out, they learn to play their guitar and so on the street corner by older musicians who know how to strum, and they learn how to strum. And bit by bit, they develop their knowledge and their skills and so on. So that it's extremely important, I believe, that we recognize, and we must not stop at the mighty Sparrow. We must go on to Short Shirt, Swallow in Antigua. We must go on to the mighty Hurricane, and so on. In Dominica, we must not forget Beckett and Winston Soso and Posa and these guys in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And all of the great guys from Trinidad, of course, but the emphasis must not just be on the Trinidad and Calypsonians. Here in Grenada, we have a Jamo, Black Wizard, the Scaramouche, Darky, and so on, that would have blazed the trail when really and truly, in many respects, the Calypso did not have this great financial return as some of the young performers now have. So that there is so much we can say about our Slinger and so on, but essentially too, we must not forget that mighty Sparrow is Grenadian. Born and bred Grenadian. That's a fundamental point that must not be lost on us in the history. And part of the criticism is that Sparrow went to Trinidad. I say to persons, if Sparrow did not travel to Trinidad when he did, around 21 months or thereabout, old, with his family, the world might have never heard about the mighty Sparrow. Because you see, Trinidad provided the environment as a mecca of carnival and calypso and so on for his talent to have flourished. And we can trace that here in Grenada with other prominent Grenadians. Malcolm X is a first-generation Grenadian. If his mother, Louise Little, did not migrate from Nadigue when she did, the world may not have had an experience in Malcolm X. Now, Malcolm X would have led in many respects the civil rights movement in the United States, and he made a great impact on the liberation of black people, not just in the US, but throughout the world. Should we say, or should we not say, that Malcolm X is not worthy to be celebrated as a first-generation Grenadian? We can go further. Uriah Bus Butler, Grenadian, and in the 1930s led the trade union struggle in Trinidad. But that trade union struggle that Butler led and was imprisoned falsely for, led in many respects in moving forward the colonization struggle for all of the countries in the Caribbean. Should we then say that because Uriah Butler made his name and lived his life in Trinidad and Tobago, that he's not worthy of being celebrated as a Grenadian in Grenada? So these are some fundamental issues, Godfrey, that we need to embrace and share with our general public and so on. Persons think that because Sparrow was in a Calypso tending Grenada and so on, but the mighty Sparrow is a Grenadian who, in many respects, pioneered the most dominant musical genre in the Eastern Caribbean. And that we must be proud of.
Now, Ali, you said something very interesting, and some of the other our colleagues mentioned it before. When you spoke of, having to get an artist to come now, they want 5-star hotel, they want, and the kind of monies that they're making. I just want to share something with you guys, which was written in the Trinidad Chronicle on March 5th, 1957. And it was written at the backdrop of Sparrow boycotting the competition in 1957. And that was as a result of the very small monies that was paid to the Calypso King as compared to the Carnival Queen. Now, the article said, Sparrow was chosen Calypso King at a contest at Globe Theatre on Sunday afternoon. At the 19 Calypsonians took part. The majority of these Calypsonians boycotted the competition at the Queen's Park Savannah the same evening. Sparrow's winning Calypso was about the boycott. Now, because of what the Calypso, the Carnival Queen was getting at the time. In fact, in 1957, the Carnival Queen got a Mega Sports convertible, a Ernest Borrell cocktail watch, a free return trip to New York for 2, a large cup, Max Factor beauty set, Nivea beauty product. All of these the Carnival Queen got. All right. The first runner-up got a free return trip to Jamaica for 2, a jewelry set of necklet and earrings, a Pro gas stove, Nivea beauty product, a Luxor radio, a typewriter, a Max Factor beauty set. What did the Calypso King get? And because of that, Sparrow felt, no, you can't do that. So he boycotted 1957, he boycotted 58, he boycotted 59, and by then they got the message, and then the earnings started to increase. And I'm saying that to say, look, if it wasn't for that kind of revolution, where Sparrow, this 21-year-old Grenadian, who felt he had to stand up and fight for something more for Calypsonians, we probably may not have been where we are today. And Ali, I see some of your soca artists is making a plea for some more money. And all of these, we should not forget that, I think it's fair to say this is where it started. That fight for better recognition in terms of prize monies and so on. So I just thought I should just, add in that so people can have an understanding of the contribution, not just, he didn't do anything for Grenada, but Calypso as a whole, the art form, and the contribution that this gentleman made, it's incomparable.
Definitely. And the artists now, they are well compensated, or far better compensated in terms of the Sparrow era. It's just like West Indies cricket in many respects. In our greatest era, with the Vivian Richards and the Holding and the Marshall and so on. You compare the earnings to that now of the Chris Gill and the Bravo and so on in the T20 and so on. It's chalk and cheese. But in a real sense, you expect evolution, you expect development and so on. But there is no doubt that these pioneering efforts of Slinger in those early days, would have set, would have laid some groundwork for Calypsonians to have greater respects. Because remember, Calypso is also coming as a critical part of the resistance culture in the Caribbean. not just singing about master, but also singing about colonialism and so on and so forth. And challenging the elite in society as well. It was of a different ilk than what the carnival queens were doing. The carnival queens with all these fancy gongs and evening gongs and so on was really a portrayal of European culture.
Indeed.
So it's a completely different dynamic. The queen show element that we have come to know and so on was really a celebration of a more Eurocentric perspective than an Afro-Caribbean perspective. And Calypso is the soul of Afro-Caribbeanism. But Godfrey, I think we're talking a lot. And we're celebrating a man of music.
Right. Yes, yeah.
I don't know if you could give, let's see if we can see the body in full flight.
Yeah, well, we'll do that. But I was so taken into that conversation, I forgot that we had to take a commercial break. So we're going to take that break quickly. And when we come back, we would show a bit of, performance from Sparrow. So stay with us, folks. We'll be back with you in just a moment.
Hubbard's is giving away loads of prizes with Live Free for 1 year 3.0. Same promotion, more prizes to be won. Spend $50 or more at any Hubbard's department and receive a chance to win big every 2 weeks. Free fuel for 1 year. Free cooking gas for 1 year. Cash savings account from the Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited. Free electricity for 1 year. Free Coca-Cola for 1 year. Free property insurance for 1 year. Free drinks for 1 year. Free lunch packages from the Creative Chef. 1 free gas cooker. Free internet and cable for 1 year. And free groceries for 1 year. Promotion runs from April 28 to September 16, 2022. Live Free for 1 year 3.0 is brought to you in part by Chief Brand Products, Grenadian General Insurance Company Limited, Carib Breweries, Danny, Flow, Creative Chef, Grenlex, Supreme Bleach, Promos, Sol, Dutch Lady, Coca-Cola Grenada Bottling Company, Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited, and a Food Fair Supermarket. Terms and conditions apply.
Have you heard about the new Soft Weave bathroom tissue with total hygiene? As hygiene and safety have taken center stage, our bathroom tissue is now manufactured with 3 different technologies to offer the best protection for you and your family. UVC light technology for a safe and effective disinfection process, eliminating 99.9% of microorganisms. Also, production at high temperatures, killing all types of germs and bacteria. And it's pH controlled with delicate fibers to prevent irritation for even sensitive skin. Soft Weave Total Hygiene Bathroom Tissue, available in supermarkets and shops island-wide. Visit Soft Weave Caribbean Facebook or Instagram pages for more information.
The exciting, dramatic, humorous, and mind-captivating Lions All Mass is back in 2022. The Lions Club of St. George's and Spicemas Corporation brings you an evening of comedy, fun, laughter, and pick-on at the Grenada Youth Center on Sunday, July 17th from 3 p.m. Tickets are available from any member of the St. George's Lions Club, Spicemas Office, Grenadian Optical, Clear Vision, and Gittins Pharmacy. Grand Dance. Admission adults, $25. Children 12 and under, pay $12. Come relieve your stress through laughter and be prepared to be entertained by local calypso and soca artists. This is an evening you don't want to miss. The Lions and Spicemas Corporation All Mass, Sunday, July 17th, Grenada Youth Center, 3 p.m. See you there.
They are the few, the strong, the elite. Grenada, get ready as our sporting gladiators go for gold and glory at the World Championships. Follow every throw, stride and jump from July 15th to the 24th. Capture the action daily on GBN television. It's the World Championships. The dream continues.
James is going to win it.
Are you looking for a summer program that is fun-filled, safe, and mentally stimulating for your child? Then Destined to Win Summer Explosion is just what the summer ordered. For ages 5 to 16, our program includes arts and craft, reading and mathematics, indoor and outdoor games, dancercise, karate, field trips, face painting, treasure hunting, and more. Destined to Win Summer Explosion runs July 11th to August 12th from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily. We're located on Tempe Main Road next to Ned's Rental. Registration only $10. Spaces are limited, so call Mrs. Bartholomew on 403-8282, 405-8282, or 414-8282 to book today.
When you need your prescription filled or you require non-prescribed medication, supplements, or all your personal needs, visit Gittins Healthcare at locations on Wall Street, Grand Anse, Victoria Street, Granville, and Central Deputy Street, Wharf. Gittins Healthcare aims to provide an exceptional personalized pharmacy experience. Additionally, children under 5 and adults 55 years and over will enjoy 10% discount on purchases of $20 and over on prescription medication. Stop settling for less. Visit Gittins Healthcare, where your health is our priority.
Kindly greasy pole, and we don't dance round the maypole.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Week Culture, and of course, we are recognizing Sparrow Day. Yes, it's tomorrow, and of course, looking at the contributions of the great slinger Francisco. Yes, indeed. We've just been joined by an artist in Grenada that I think has achieved probably more than any other artist has, well, except Groovy, yet, because he's still doing a thing, you know what I mean? And we'll introduce him just now. But what we're going to do, Ali, we're talking Sparrow, and I have a little something lined up, so I'd like to share it with our viewers. So we'll ask our producer to bring up a little performance from the great Dr. Slinger Francisco, the bird with the word.
They say how I getting old, you'll think I is met you, Salah. I sure I ain't getting cold, still hot like a combo. I still could perform and function, I could handle any action. The satisfaction was still guaranteed. Who disagree? Man, they're telling lie on me, you see. I tell you, it's just a number, controlled by your state of mind. Maturity is always better, especially if you're feeling fine. Listen to me. Age is just a number. Ability stays a long time. Old as I am, no teenager. Can't beat me when they come to wine. Bam, bam, bam. Oh, come. The girls that we have in town respect you when you're that champion. Bam, bam. They like when you're big and strong and know how to jam the section. I may not be too muscular, but I have the vim and figure. Any fame the younger man could claim. It means the same. Don't let old talk drive you insane. I tell you, age is just a number. Ability stays a long time. Wisdom is there to help you conquer any mountain you have to climb. Age is just a number. Don't what the people say. I could challenge any young boy and beat him on the hallway. Die, 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 die. Oh, man. People come to me in truth to find out what is my secret. Is it the fountain of youth? Oh, barefoot or black magic? They never believe the answer when I tell them so. I feel it's what have me always feeling glad. I never sad. I love to jump and live life hard. Watch me. It's just a number. No scientist cannot define. Why some get weaker, some get stronger, while getting old at the same time. Hey, yes, it's just a number. The girls declare openly brave that they rather have an old man lover rather than to be some young boy slave. If you have to judge this book, never judge it by the cover. Open every page and look, then read every verse and chapter. Whether they love me or like me, you mustn't let them stereotype. Don't listen to no absurdity. It's plain to see, old age is stopping the body. Just a number. Like if you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it is simply a little reminder for birthday parties to survive. Tell them, age is just a number. Careful in making love a war. Hurry birds make crookedness. Remember, girls will get it slowly but sure. We know we old, but we ain't cold. Them fool, how we rule. What you say?
Oh, yes, indeed. You know, Ali, I'm looking at Sparrow there with some of these moves and so, and all I could see is Specky in the 1980s, in the 80s. You know, he had a way he used to take one foot and put over the other knee, and he used to hop across the stage.
well, let me get him on it.
Uncle, welcome.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. And sorry for joining in late because I was on the road. I was driving. I was around Tivoli area, and I said, no, I gotta make that program. But you hit the nail right on the head. Sparrow, all my great performance over the years is the mighty Sparrow. Mm-hmm. I remember when I stopped the band, when I was singing "Me Neighbor Bring Some Water," and I started singing a cappella, and then I come back, Mama, like, man, the place gone mad. And first time people saw that, I look at Sparrow do that in Wingate. Mm-hmm. And I remember singing on shows like Madison Square Garden and Tilden Hall in Brooklyn in the early time. And when I perform first, because once you're not from Trinidad and then place, Vinci and Bijan, the thing used to be we had to sing first. And I was go and sit down in the audience and look at the mighty Sparrow just to learn something. When you talk about Calypso, you talk about the mighty Sparrow. May I repeat? When you talk about Calypso, you talk about the mighty Sparrow. The great Chagda said, King Chagda said that God gave Chagda some talent. He gave David Rada some talent. He gave Lord Kitchener some talent. God took all the talent and gave the mighty Sparrow. And when a man like Chagda could make a comment like that, you have to tell you the man is great. And all the great Calypsonians around the Caribbean or around the world, whether you're saying Calypso in Germany or France, learn from the mighty Sparrow. I was looking at a documentary with King Shot from Antigua, and next great one again, won the crown about 17 times in Antigua. And the idol was the mighty Sparrow. Everybody learned from Sparrow. Sparrow was the trade union to Calypso. Always mention he's a Grenadian. Anytime me and this man talk, he always asks how he's grown right. You understand? But he had to do what he had to do. He had to migrate. And because of Trinidad and Sparrow, we get to know about Calypso. So we have to honor the man, and he deserves it. Sparrow Day, he well deserves it.
Yes, indeed. Ali, I want us to talk a bit about Sparrow's music. I think it was Dobrene who mentioned earlier about the expanse of his work. And I want us to talk about that. Sparrow, when it comes to the parties, you can't beat Sparrow. Competition, you can't beat Sparrow. Road march, sometimes I wonder how is it that people would, refer to Kitchener when it comes to road march and not Sparrow. Because the record shows that Sparrow has just as much, maybe one shot of the road match crowns than Kitch. So let's talk a little bit about the range of his work in terms of the different types of calypsos that Sparrow performed. Let's talk a bit about that.
Yeah, I will give it to Omar to join in here.
Well, certainly. I think he has won as many road march titles as he has won Calypso King titles. Mm-hmm. And this is an aspect of his work, that does not get as much publicity as the rest of it. Also, a very interesting fact for me, I think, sometimes we repeat these things, we hear them, and we do not have facts. But I think his bestseller is I'll Be Home for Christmas. And certainly not any of his calypsos. It is that Christmas ballad, which I think is his bestseller. Certainly the Christmas ballad that took him all over this world. This is where he's known. Sparrow's essentially identifies him for greatness. His work also has been used in commercials. I remember years ago there was a commercial, I think it was about phosphorine. And this commercial was so popular based on the music message in phosphorine that he actually used to perform that commercial on his shows. And he came to Antigua as a little boy then. My father was a calypso fanatic, and so Daddy took me anywhere he went with calypso. And Sparrow had come through Barbados, I think it was, and has done his phosphorine piece, etc. And the Barbadian crowd applauded, and he came to Antigua and he tried it. But his album, I think it might have been his 70s, probably earlier than that, maybe his mid-60s album would have been out. And he came to Antigua and did not perform, at least for the first part of the show, started singing these commercials that he had. And the Antigua crowd, you have a very strange crowd in Antigua. When they go to tell you no, they tell you no. And the crowd said no to Sparrow and actually booed him and threw shoes and bottles and things and so on the stage and tell him, no, that's not what we came here for. We didn't come here for that, you know. Sparrow went backstage and came back out and pumped up this band and sang, I would think, for about an hour and a half, sang every one of his new tunes. And I remember when we came out of the cinema, the crowd, the Antiguan crowd, had Sparrow on their shoulders, marching him up and down the high street in Antigua. This is how great this man was, you know. And that ability to incorporate all different genres of music into the calypso, I think, as I said earlier, it's one of the important facets of his.
Godfrey, before we bring in Duncan a second time, let me tell you, there is a radio program tomorrow on Trinidad Radio by Eric St. Bernard. And here how he promoting it. Conscious Sparrow, worthless Sparrow, festive Sparrow, all Sparrow. So that goes to tell you. But maybe I could just use that juncture here. We're going to offer a ticket for the March Gras finals, for the Calypso finals, sorry. And the question we're going to ask our listeners, Godfrey, so they can call in a little later to give us the answer. How many Calypso crowns and how many road march crowns did the mighty Sparrow won in Trinidad and Tobago? As Dobrene touched on that point, so we give that question. How many Calypso crowns and how many road march crowns did the mighty Sparrow won in Trinidad and Tobago? That's the first question.
I could take that.
Huh?
I could take that.
Godfrey, you go get that ticket. You don't take that.
I want to earn my ticket.
No, you can't take it. Don't worry about it.
I mean, to earn the ticket, for you to earn the ticket, you have to name the road marches.
I could do that. Trust me, I could do that. I could probably even tell you how much points he scored when he won the Calypso Monarch title. But I want to share this before we go to the telephone and the phone is ringing. And I don't think I've ever heard this happen before in any Calypso competition. And that was in 1960. And this is from the Evening News on the 29th February 1960. It says, Sparrow's rendition of 10 to 1 is Murder. A rare treat of talent, a catchy tune, showmanship and prestige. Last night won him the crown of Calypso King, and that put more confusion in the road march race and almost wrecked the Calypso contest. Melody's Tired Iceman was beaten into second place. Striker placed third. Fortunately for the public, Sparrow received so much tremendous ovation at the end of 10 to 1 that he gave an encore of the two last stanzas. This threw the other Calypsonians into a panic, and one of the judges had to go backstage to assure them that their decision would not be influenced by it. Now, I have never heard, I don't know if you gentlemen ever heard that, in a Calypso Monarch competition, a Calypsonian giving an encore.
But go further with that particular tune, you know. Kitchener thinks that it's the greatest Calypso ever written. That it has in all the elements of a great Calypso, which is why it worked that way. I mean, the call and response, the storytelling, the visuals in it, the twist at the end of it is literary in terms of how he finishes that story in Patapow and the crowd start to scatter. Kitchener thinks, and if Kitchener says that, I think we should pay attention to that. That is the greatest calypso written.
All right, lovely. Now, Ali, we have to go. Let's go to the telephone line because I think somebody want to ensure they have their tickets secure for the March Fair. So let's go to the telephone. We Culture, good evening.
I think somebody want to ensure they have their tickets secure for the March Fair. So let's go to the telephone.
Hello? Hello?
Good evening.
Yes, can you turn the volume of your device down? Listen to us on your telephone, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so go ahead.
Can you repeat the question, sir?
Okay, the question is how many Calypso crowns and how many road match crowns did Sparrow win in Trinidad and Tobago?
Oh, he got 8 Calypso crowns.
And road match?
The road match. The road match title.
Caller, you on Google?
No, sir.
I find you Googling, man. I find you're taking long to answer. We had to take a next caller.
Can I?
Okay, caller, you want to try back, right? Okay. Try back with the road match, okay?
Is it can I make one try?
Well, yes, but I mean we just can't be on the line with you.
Is it 12?
Oh no, that's not the correct answer. Thank you very much. Okay. All right, so she did not get it right. She said 8 and 12, and I know that is not correct. So
Dobrene already give the answer. He just said silly number. So once she was on the right path there, I thought she'd have just closed the deal. But let's look for another caller. Maybe.
Let me just. We have a couple Facebook comments, and there was one I saw that was very, very interesting, and I think I want to take that one first. Someone said, where is it now? Don't tell me I lost it. Right. So someone says, why not acquire the house he used to live in Grand Roy and turn it into a Sparrow museum and part as part of our tourist sites?
And that's a brilliant suggestion. But I don't think that building is still there. But that is something, Godfrey, that I may just want to lead off on again. We now need to leverage how we can use the legacy of the mighty Sparrow, how we leverage that with regards to our cultural and tourism product. I mean, when you go to Jamaica, there is so many you can go to Bob Marley House on 56 Hope Road. You can then decide to travel up to the countryside where he was born and so on. And in any one year, you'll have thousands and thousands of persons visiting Jamaica will retrace the steps of Robert Nestor, who Sparrow influenced. And that's another thing again, I don't know, but Bob Marley is not named officially as a hero in Jamaica, which I believe and I contend is a serious oversight. But what this person is getting at is absolutely a brilliant suggestion, and it goes beyond just we celebrating Sparrow, but also too how the country of his birth can leverage the legacy of the mighty Sparrow. And it's something that we need to look at, not just we cultural enthusiasts, but the government must look at with regards to how can we leverage these outstanding Grenadians, and how can we, and certainly that will add tremendous value to our tourism product. If we can get some area in Granary where we can get persons visiting the island to see where the king of the Calypso king of the world, where he came from.
Right, lovely. Let's go back to the telephone. We Culture, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening, caller.
I want to try.
Sure, go ahead.
Is it 8-time the Calypso King and 8-time the Road March King?
Well, that caller was listening. Congratulations.
Yeah, caller, are you hearing? You heard what the gentleman said?
Yeah.
Right. So you are indeed a winner. I would like you to stay on the telephone line, all right? So that we can get your information, so arrangements can be made. So when the time comes, you can get your winnings, all right?
Yeah. Thank you very much, and I want to state again, happy birthday to him too. Tomorrow, please God.
Yes, tomorrow, please God. Yes.
Yeah. I wish him all the best and long life. I too have links from Grand Roy. My father was from Grand Roy too, so you know.
Okay, thank you, caller. Stay on the line. Don't go anywhere. All right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. So, Ali, let's take a little bit of Sparrow again while I get the caller's information, and then we'll come back.
You sure you don't want Specky to sing a voice in a Sparrow?
Yeah, I could do that.
Well, okay. So while we get the information, let's bring in Uncle. So Uncle, the floor is yours.
One of my favorites, Soca Pressure. They used to say, aha, the old man done. Blue boy and them boy army on the run. But they realize they make a big mistake. I was only giving them young fellas a break. But they brag and boast all in America. How to win road march, they had the formula. The body only just can't make again. Until I catch them back and nearly kill them in Port of Spain. All who think the great this year go fill me with Soca Pressure. And I like when he say 1980. Who survive, long as I'm alive for the festival. Music jamming, Soca Pressure for the carnival. Melody and lyrics and Sparrow taught me, how to have confidence in myself. And when he tell you he coming. Arley, I don't know if you remember when Sparrow beat Super Blue with Do Back. Super Blue went missing for a lot of years. Blue Boy went missing for a lot of years. Mr. Blue Boy, I am declaring war. I ain't easy upon you no more. Anytime I catch you in a fit, I will jam your tail, you learn to high respect.
Okay.
The greatest. Yeah, man, the greatest. You cannot stop.
That, when I met Buddy as well, he said that he had not melody. And Val spoke about it earlier in regards to the pecan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, them guys say, like, you know, them one another. I say you give Kitsch a serious lash, you know, when you did the song, with regards to when he refused one of the awards. What's the name of that song again?
When he refused the Trinity Cross.
Yes, Ramgood advice. But Buddy said, well, that's how we used to do it, you know. We would sing on one another and so on, but we don't vex.
No. Sorry. He didn't refuse the Trinity Cross. He wanted the Trinity Cross.
I think he Shakonia gold medal. He refused Shakonia.
Yes, he wanted
something less. You know, yes. Buddy said, boy, what the country give you should accept. You know, I say is Ramgood advice. You know, you take that within that. But the idea is that even if those guys throw the pecan, you know, they were not, you know, enemies or anything like that, you know. And sometimes, even in Grenada here, we have artists and the competition and the fans, you know, they would, you know, almost, they quarrel with each other and so on. But generally, the Calypsonians and so on, when they meet, they have a good laugh with regards to the pecan. You know,
indeed. Yeah. Now, I want Duncan. I want you to. I want to bring you in here because I want to get your comments on a particular calypso that Sparrow did. It's one of my favorites. Philip, my dear.
Yeah.
I want to hear you on that. Philip, my dear, let's talk about that calypso. Let's pull it apart.
Last night I thought I was here in here. Where did you go?
You're muted still, Duncan. You need to unmute a bit. Mm-hmm.
I think this has to be recorded as one of the best written calypsos in the sense that, and it's not, well, melody apart, we're not really touching melody. Look at the lyrics. There isn't one, maybe, letter that has been misplaced in the construction of a sentence throughout that song. I'm not saying word. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying sentence. I'm saying there isn't one letter that has been misplaced. It's one of the best written songs in terms of storyline and the entire narration of the piece. You cannot touch that.
Right. You know, I think yesterday actually was the anniversary of the visit, you know. Yeah, when the gentleman visited the Queen's bedroom with a tool made for agriculture. He wanted to do some farming. Well, that's what Sparrow said, yeah?
We're not even touching the images that have been conjured. We ain't touching those images at all. Dobrene, we're not even going there. Displayed inside me boudoir.
Mm-hmm. A tool made for agriculture. Mm-hmm. I stood there in awe. Okay, gentlemen, let's just take our final commercial break and we come right back. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere.
Hubbard's is giving away loads of prizes with Live Free for 1 year 3.0. Same promotion, more prizes to be won. Spend $50 or more at any Hubbard's department and receive a chance to win big every 2 weeks. Win! Free fuel for 1 year. Free cooking gas for 1 year. Cash savings account from the Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited. Free electricity for 1 year. Free Coca-Cola for 1 year. Free property insurance for 1 year. Free drinks for 1 year. Free lunch packages from the Creative Chef. 1 free gas cooker. Free internet and cable for 1 year. And free groceries for 1 year. Promotion runs from April 28 to September 16, 2022. Live Free for 1 year 3.0 is brought to you in part by Chief Brand Products, Grenadian General Insurance Company Limited, Carib Breweries, Danny, Flow, Creative Chef, Grenlex, Supreme Bleach, Promos, Sol, Dutch Lady, Coca-Cola Grenada Bottling Company, Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited, and a Food Fair Supermarket. Terms and conditions apply.
They are the few, the strong, the elite. Grenada, get ready as our sporting gladiators go for gold and glory at the World Championships. Follow every throw, stride and jump from July 15th to the 24th. Capture the action daily on GBN television. It's the World Championships. The dream continues.
James is going to win it.
WeatherGuard Pro. For every project, there's only one Pro.
When a loved one passes on, we all need the comfort, support, and guidance of a trusted friend. You can rely on LaCour Brothers Funeral Home. We provide a personalized professional service that exceeds all expectations. Our dedicated staff responds to your every need with the greatest detail, ensuring affordability with a variety of options. Our upgraded state-of-the-art facilities, spacious air-conditioned chapel with live internet streaming, a modern, environmentally safe crematorium, the only of its kind on island, private viewing spaces, large on-site repast center, a modern transportation fleet. Join our burial society today and make personalized arrangements for that final moment as you prepare to enter your loved one into eternal rest. Visit or call LaCour Brothers Funeral Home and select a package that brings added comfort to the entire family. LaCroix Brothers Funeral Home and Burial Society, continuing a tradition of excellence.
If there was ever a time to keep and stay healthy, it's now! We at Hills and Valley are here to help you take deliberate steps to maintain your health. We stayed true to maintaining the most comprehensive rates while stocking the widest range of medicines and health devices, including personal protective equipment. There are so many benefits shopping with us. You get great savings through discounts for senior citizens and reward cards for loyal customers. Ask about owning yours today. Visit us at Halifax and Grenville Street, St. George, Jubilee Street opposite the Grenville Bus Terminal, and at Hillsborough, Carrico. Our wholesale distribution on Halifax Street also stocks the widest range of pharmaceuticals. We are with you on the hills and in the valleys. We are Hills and Valley Pharmacy.
Kindly greasy pole, and we don't dance round the maypole.
Welcome back, everyone. Gentlemen, I want to throw something at you all before we go to the Facebook page. In 1968, what is Calypso Social Bacchanal? 69, Black is Beautiful, 1 Foot Vizina. 70, Brotherhood of Man and See Through. 71, Mathematical Formula for Peace, Melvi and Yvonne. And apparently nobody, no Calypsonian at the time seemed to have been able to break that except one man. And in 1972, Drunk and Disorderly and the Rope. Uncle, come in here, let me hear you. Let me test you.
The Mighty Duke.
The Mighty Duke.
The Mighty Duke won it 4 times, and he says Sparrow and take part. He's not defending, and that's the mistake he make. The king come and beat him bad.
Speculator, listen to me, man.
I didn't born yet when Duke won the first 2 years, but then I know my history. The Mighty Duke.
You listen to me.
Yeah. Yes, I will admit. Yes.
He beat him with 2 jump-up tunes too in 72.
But
that is the first that had happened also.
But let me add something here. Let me add something here. I figure something happened there, you know. I don't know, but for the very first time, they had Calypsonians singing the 2 Calypso back to back. I wonder why.
I don't remember.
Yes, they did. In fact, it is believed that it was planned that way for Sparrow to be Duke.
And let me mention
Sparrow that be Duke anyhow.
Let me mention something to you. I observe personally. Duke and Sparrow don't talk for years. I've been in shows with them, and I see they pass one another street. And Duke also mentioned the greatest Calypsonian that ever lived was the Lord Kitchener. So I don't know if after that leaks something about Sparrow you don't like.
No. It goes beyond that. It's not Duke that don't like Sparrow. It's Sparrow that don't like Duke.
All right.
It's Sparrow that don't like Duke.
Yes, I played it. And I think Sparrow said when he was boycotting the competition, years ago for Mope, Duke defended. Duke went and took part in the competition. When Sparrow and others boycotted, Duke took part in the competition. I heard he say that in a documentary.
In fact, that year Duke placed 7th when in 72 with black skin, white mask, and no bra look.
When Sparrow came back.
Yeah, when Sparrow came back in 72.
Yeah.
But let me just pick up on one other thing here that Dobrene hinted to. The 2 fast calypsos of the party music. Now, Buddy will tell you that that's why he get the name the Mighty Sparrow, because them fellas say he always on his feet and he always hopping up and down the place like a sparrow.
Yeah.
So, and even when Sparrow sing 10 to 1 is murder and so on, the general trend in Calypso at the time was to sing slow Calypsos.
Yeah.
So fellas saying, but what Sparrow singing there? You know, because Sparrow start doing this up-tempo type of music and so on. I mean, granted, years down the road, Rashati would have brought in the soca beat. But Buddy, Sparrow was not just about lyrics as we know it in terms of singing these heavy social commentaries and political commentaries and so on. Although he did, But Body was well known for entertaining people, boy.
Oh yes.
I want to mention something quick before I forget. Sparrow sang many classics in his life. But when you listen to songs like Man Will Survive, I'm a Slave, and Education, right there you from that this man could sing. Them three calypso, when you talk about singing, and George's criteria, must from the man. Because how that man singing that calypso is everything what they on a George's coaching. The criteria. He's scoring points on everything. Melody, lyrics, rendition. This man just great. And a lot of people who don't like him, one of the reasons why they don't like him is because he don't born in Trinidad. I listen to a lot of them reason on top. Because he don't born in Trinidad. Big man speaking. That's why a lot of them don't like him. Because he don't born in Trinidad. But Sparrow is the greatest. The greatest. He's the first person that called David Rada King David Rada too. I must mention that. King David Rada. When David Rada won in 86, Sparrow MC the Masdra. Yeah, and he called him King David Rada. Remember that David Rada sweep them, clean up everything.
Let's bring in Val. Val hasn't said anything in a little while.
Yeah.
Val, you with us there? Is Val hearing us?
Well, Specky just mentioned Education, one of the three songs. I'm hearing you.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Val. We're hearing you, man. Loud and clear. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was Specky mentioned one of the three songs, the three best that Sparrow had, and they really couldn't touch him. And he come up again with what I did earlier on with Education. Children go to school and learn well. That was a classic. And I think, Godfrey, you mentioned that it had everything that the judges was looking for. Melody, the lyrics well put together, and it came to a climax at the end, and you couldn't beat that. The guy is just gifted. This guy was born blessed.
And I want to also, sorry for continuing, Val, but it just crossed my mind and I must.
And the idea about his residence, or he was born in Grand Roy, I think that's a mob.
We seem to be losing Val there a bit. But no, they mentioned Education, but I don't think Sparrow ever did that song in competition though. Yeah. Didn't.
Okay.
So
Godfrey, I just want to mention something quick before I forget. That crossed my mind. Sparrow is the only Calypsonian I've seen. Yeah. Sparrow is the only Calypsonian I've seen. Blow trombone with the mouth. That song just like the trombone.
No, we're just talking general.
You heard me?
Yeah.
When he's singing me. I never see that before. The man just great.
Yeah. So gentlemen, let me just throw in that again. So after Sparrow defeated Duke in 72, so he won 72, 73, 74, and then he was out for many years. And Ali mentioned just now, the upbeat songs that Sparrow did. And in 1992, Sparrow came back with Survival and my favorite Calypso from Sparrow. Both of them, and lick up the place completely. Ali, your turn.
Can I sing a verse for you before?
Hold on, just now. Ali, let me hear Ali and Duncan on both of them.
So what I love about both of them, and I remember that performance as if it was yesterday, with these two young ladies dressed in their tights. Looking similar. Well, I don't know, Sparrow get them that they look like twins. And But if you listen to the song, the trick in that song is that Sparrow already saying his Kitchener telling him to do the boat and everything.
Yes.
Song, you will swear Sparrow that worthless, how he's an infidel and so on. But Sparrow putting all the blame and pull at Kitchener. In the last verse now, Sparrow say, thanks Kitch for your good advice. In other words, for 3 verses, you swear that Sparrow that gets now with slackness and so on. You know? But the last verse now, he said, oh, thanks Kitch for your good advice, but he ain't able and so on and so forth. So he still come out smelling sweet as a rose.
Oh yes, definitely.
That to me is a trick in the lyrical composition of that song. He blamed Kitchener for the whole thing for giving him that kind of advice to take boot to them. That is a really, really beautiful composition. But you have to listen it keenly and follow, because it's not Sparrow that won the boat and everything. It's not he at all. As far as he's concerned, he's innocent and he's very loyal and faithful to his girlfriend. But it's Lord Kitchener that telling him no.
Yeah. Try to get him in thing. Duncan, your comment. Duncan, let me hear you.
but Arley's analysis is correct. But let's go further now, forward after both of them. Who get the licks from Rashoti Eye? Who get the licks from Rashoti Eye on that?
Yes, put in the last verse.
Somebody will tell Shorty he should never believe his own lie.
That's it.
Never believe his own lie.
That's the beauty. You know, there was an interview with Sparrow after that when he did the More the Merrier. You know, why such similarity in the 2 songs? Both of them and the More the Merrier. And his response was, if you have a formula to work in, why change it?
And same presentation too. When Chuck does beat him, he come back with same 2 girls and he sing the More the Merrier.
Yeah. So, gentlemen, let's go to the telephone. We have a call on the line. Let's see who's with us. We call Chuck. Good evening.
Yeah.
Yes, good evening.
Yes, good evening. Greetings. Yeah. Greetings to all the gentlemen there on the panel. Very interesting conversation this evening as we pay tribute to a very powerful Grenadian. And I'm happy that we're doing it now that he's still alive. I wish him a happy birthday tomorrow, and I do beg the Lord's blessing upon him for many more. Slinger Francisco, Mighty Sparrow, the bird with the word, the birdie. Very many characteristics came out of his performances and his repertoire over the years. But there's a particular one I would like to look at, because I'm a man of language and words. Languages, should I say, and words. Sparrow is the only Calypsonian who sang comfortably, not total songs, but where applicable and where necessary in other languages. He spoke perfect English where necessary and fitting. He spoke in all Caribbean dialect. Sang in all Caribbean dialect. He spoke in perfect Castilian Spanish. In French, true French, where applicable and necessary, and Creole patois. But you ain't hear nothing yet. He used utterances from Western and Central Africa perfectly in his songs, and I think it's one of the most outstanding characteristics of his repertoire, because no other has done it. I'd like to hear your comments on the gentleman. By the way, Mr. Gill, I heard Sparrow all through the years. I heard him, and the Caribbean people heard him. Be careful how you use would have plus the past participle. Just a little nyapita there. Enjoy yourselves, gentlemen. But your comments, please, on my observation. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening, will you?
Thank you, caller. Thank you. Gentlemen?
I think the caller was spot on in terms of the languages, because that was one of the comments that I hoped would have come up sometime throughout the conversation. And the caller, I'm thankful for the caller to have made that observation, because not only the language, but in terms of just the dialect and some of the cultural expressions that we find across the Caribbean, Sparrow was able to capture that a lot throughout his songs. I mean, I grew up, like many others, like most of us, listening to Sparrow. And it is said, I'm not sure how correct or true that is, that the song Melda OUI was written on a Dominican. I don't know, because especially, Dominicans generally could associate or maybe cultures where you have some of the expressions that you find in Melda OUI, like Dominica, is easy to follow. That type of thing. Dobrene, I know you want to come in and say something.
No, I really don't know that, about Melda, but the observation, I think, that the caller made, it is something that passed my mind during the day. He also sang in Dutch Papiamento, I think is the name of the language there, that he actually has a couple of lines in. And his influence, as you mentioned, across this region was such that the phrase, if Sparrow says so is so, I think was a popular phrase in every island of this Caribbean.
Very common.
That is how influential he was. And I hope, again, I guess we're running out of time. Maybe I could interject now, because I think an important aspect of Sparrow, of Calypso led by Sparrow, that Arley very early in the presentation talked about his contribution to Caribbean civilization. And I really think that we should stress that. And that he was not only involved in an anti-colonial struggle, he was clearly also involved in a post-independence struggle for good governance, for transparency, for democracy, and that he certainly, at one point in time, when we think of demonstrations across this region, that Calypso is the roadmap for demonstrations. And a lot of the Calypsos would have been Sparrow's Calypso. I think that might have changed now with Bob Marley, perhaps music being substituted there. But this is the contribution of Calypso, and I'm saying Calypso led by Sparrow. To the extent, that there's a prime minister in this region who never stayed in this country for Carnival. I went on vacation as soon as Carnival was announced, basically because of what was happening in Calypso. And this whole idea of Calypso as this weapon, of this anti-colonial weapon, of this post-independence weapon to good governance, I think we have to ascribe a lot of it to the mighty Sparrow. In Antigua, of course, we have Short Shirt, who followed very, very strongly in both pre- and post-independence Antigua commentary in an analysis of political culture. I really think we have to pay a lot of attention and give Sparrow a lot of credit for that. And we must also observe that his contributions, in his music, in his lyrics, as far as his poetics are concerned, his use of language is concerned, his analysis generally are concerned. We must not forget that the University of the West Indies, I think in 1980 something, could have been 84, maybe a bit later, awarded him an honorary doctorate of letters. This is the recognition of this man's work at that level. The University of the West Indies, that is why he's Dr. Slinger Francisco. It's an honorary degree, an honorable PhD of letters, basically, because of his contributions to culture, his poetics, his use of language, etc. And we mustn't forget this, because I think this is very, very important.
Yes, indeed. So let me just try to run through a couple of our Facebook comments. Quickly, someone says, up until the 1960s, Sparrows, Calypsos ruled parties and carnival in Grenada. I was told also that some of our road march songs in this period came from Trinidad. Someone else says he's providing valuable information on Sparrow history, which should be commended. Someone says, indeed, it takes a certain depth to soberly appreciate the contribution to the artwork by Dr. Slinger Francisco. Someone says, talk the thing, Specky. Specky, somebody listening here, boy. Also, we need to get out of that eat a food mentality. I'm not sure. Someone says, here are some history on Grenada Calypso winners from 1958 to 2019. Very interesting. So they went and they outlined a number of things here, but we will deal with that after. Calypsonians worldwide were influenced by Sparrow the same way reggae artists worldwide were influenced by Bob Marley, and Ali made reference to that. Someone says, not sure if this was addressed. Why not have a Grenada Culture Day? Recognize, feature people who have contributed positively to the various art forms, not just focus on Sparrow. Good night, Godfrey and panel. Today, in a conversation with someone about Sparrow and the question of what did Sparrow do for Grenada that Grenadians benefit from, and sad I didn't have an answer. So tonight, I am asking the panel to please help educate me on that. And we spoke of that at length earlier. I am happy to know that we're giving Sparrow his flowers while alive and not when he passes on. Yes. I remember in Brooklyn one evening on Court Street, and I saw a crowd gathering from a distance. I heard a voice singing Salt Fish. So I went to the gathering, and there goes the mighty Sparrow. One thing I like about Sparrow, he sang in different languages, also as Margarita, La Granada, and the Creole, also known as Patois. And we spoke Right. I think we should not forget the way he dressed to appear on stage. So that's some of the comments that
you remember,
some of our
and you remember
are making.
And you remember Godfrey, do you remember I want to go back to Grenada to teach the Cubans how to fight. They let America take over, complaining about Reagan's mind. Lord, I hear everywhere is only bombs in the town. People running helter and shelter, looking for a place to change, saying, the greatest.
That's why they call us Pogo Sparrow. So he speak song in French, in English, in
and listen to me. Line Excuses was a classic, eh? Line Excuses was a classic.
Part 1 and part 2.
Yes, that was a classic.
Gentlemen, usually when you're having fun, time flies.
Yeah,
and we almost we basically at the end. That's all the time we have. So I would allow everybody a minute or two to make their closing comments on the mighty Sparrow. And Ali, we're gonna end with you. So let's allow.
Let me go first. Let me go first because I had to leave now. Happy birthday to the greatest, the man who is responsible for Calypso. And Grenadians, I know you're asking what Sparrow do for Grenadians. I mean, he didn't feed us. He did not build a building in Grenada. But because of Sparrow, we know about Calypso, and the name called that he born in Grenada. You understand? And he never denied that. Just like how Rihanna does go back Barbados for prop over every year to make people know she's a Bajan, Sparrow never hide it. I don't know if I remember he had an incident in the savannah where they was booing him or something, and he dropped his pants. I ain't saying more. And he said, it's my Grenadian. You understand? He make the world know he's a Grenadian. So I appreciate him and I learn from him. And happy birthday to the greatest. Thank you very much. I had to leave.
Yeah, thank you, Specky. Thank you very much for appearing. Duncan?
Yeah, thank you very much. Well, like has been said earlier, Sparrow did have a great influence on most Dominican calypsonians, if not all, in the 60s. And when you see people like Hunter on stage, that's a former calypso king of Dominica. Scrunter, former calypso king. The Caresser. You see flashes of Sparrow, not only in the voice somewhere, but in the dance, but in the movement. And the guys from the 70s, the 60s, the 80s, a lot of the quality of the lyrics, the presentation was heavily influenced by Sparrow. And Dobrene made a point earlier where he spoke about where the incident where Sparrow was being carried. Rudder captured it, I think, nicely in his calypso music. He couldn't sing calypso music or write calypso music without recognizing Mighty Sparrow. And we know that calypso music would agree that is the anthem. Carnegie Hall, graced by this presence of Sparrow. And when Slinger done with them in their tail, hear them, Sparrow Dogo, Sparrow Dogo. That, I think, can be translated from show to show, society to society, wherever calypso is sung and appreciated. And I would just like maybe to say in the Creole language, those Grenadians who still speak Creole, bon anniversaire, Sparrow, happy anniversary, Sparrow. Bon fête, Grenadians. Bon carnaval, Grenadians. Passez au bon carnaval. Enjoy the mass.
All right. Thank you very much, Duncan. It was indeed a pleasure having you. Thanks a lot indeed. Val, your closing comments?
Yeah, well, we touched on so many things tonight that we should be writing a book on this. The Mighty Sparrow, the greatest ever. And I just want to say happy birthday again to him. And the influence that he has brought to the calypso genre is amazing. It's remarkable. I mean, they're not words to really put in place to describe this man. What has he done? The recognition speaks for itself. You understand? And he deserved for that. I'm happy to say that he's still alive. We should recognize him now as we're doing here now, and give him thanks for what he has done for calypso and Caribbean culture as a whole.
Thank you very much.
Thank you again, Godfrey, for having me on, you and Ali Gill.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed for appearing. Dobrene, your closing comments?
Yes, I think I take this opportunity to wish the birdie, a very, very happy birthday. And I can assure him that that wish is not coming only from me personally, but it's coming from the Antigua Calypso fraternity, and not only the performers, but all those at any level in the production and the appreciation of calypso. I think we spoke a bit about his contribution to the Caribbean civilization, and I would just like to add that even beyond that he has facilitated the penetration of Caribbean culture in world civilization. my first visit to the continent, to Africa, back in the late 80s in Kenya, there were two Caribbean persons that were known. One was Jimmy Cliff. I think this is just before Bob Marley made his breakthrough. And the other one was the mighty Sparrow. And so we say thanks to you, Dr. Francisco. Thanks so much to you for what you have done for us as a Caribbean people. We appreciate you. We love you. We wish you long life. We know that you're perhaps the only man around who has died, 3-4 times already, if our count. And so we know that, we're not going to have to deal with another rumor very, very soon. All the best to you, my brother. All the best.
Thank you very much, Dobrene, and it was indeed a pleasure having you. Ali? Your closing comments. And
thank you very much, Godfrey. I can't close by not saying thanks to you for having us on the program, and to thank Dobrene, who is in St. Kitts on family duties, Duncan, who had to put aside other things to be with us, Val, who readily agreed, and I must say we tried to get Professor Gordon Roller, who is one of the foremost experts on calypso. We were not able to get him. Also, Dr. Keith Nelson, St. Lucia, the principal of St. Lucia Community College, to be with us, but they had other engagements. The whole idea is to show, and I mean, to all the persons, the critics and so on, who think that we ought not to celebrate the body in Grenada. I mean, come on. I believe tonight, over the last 2 hours, we've shared with you the contribution of the man, his music, and what he has done, not just to Grenada, but to Caribbean and world civilization. And we will be missing the point if we believe that because Buddy Sparrow did not win Calypso crowns in Grenada and so on, that we ought not to celebrate him. He's Grenadian. He has made a tremendous contribution to Caribbean civilization, Caribbean music, and global civilization. It does not mean that we do not have to recognize, and we do recognize Grenadian cultural performers. But the mighty Sparrow is the greatest calypso of them all. Mighty Sparrow, we cannot deny that fact, and we are honored to celebrate him. And in closing, of course, I want to say a happy birthday to the mighty Sparrow, Dr. Stinger Francisco, and may he live to see many more. Thank you so much, Godfrey, for having us tonight.
Well, thank you, Ali. Thank you for, of course, appearing. It's a real pleasure. I enjoyed every bit of it. I love my Kaiso. I love Sparrow, and so I wouldn't miss that for nothing. I just want to say to folks out there, tomorrow from 2:00 you can join me, and you're going to get a Sparrow treat. All right, it's going to be all Sparrow calypsos throughout the entire afternoon. So join me 2:00 right here on the station K105 FM, and we're going to have a good time. You're going to hear from 1954 all the way up to right now. All right, we have it. We have the guys, so you don't have to worry. You ain't gonna miss nothing. So join me 2:00 tomorrow, and we're gonna have a ball as we celebrate with the mighty Sparrow his 87th birthday. Gentlemen, I thank you all so very much, for appearing on the program. And as I told you earlier, I look forward to having you again. This is culture, and of course, when it comes to calypso, I am right there. So thank you all very much, and do have a good night. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Godfrey. Thank you, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Good night.
All the best, yes.
Good night, guys.
For another 12 months, but Russia refused to support the extension.
I find them amusing. Some people say they find them so damn confusing.
And France, NGOs.
For the things children do, make you think they had it well. But from my point of view, I find them to be jokey like hell. Imagine 2 little children mating, naked skin. The both of them learning how to swim. The little girl asked the boy, what is that? He said, I don't know. She said,
raise it high up the ladder. Let we set it on